Welcome, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Kevin Derrick. I do external affairs here. So without further ado, I would like to present to you your Illinois State Comptroller, Honorable Susanna Mendoza.
Good morning. How are we doing? I want to say that it's a real honor to be here again with you all today. Today in particular to celebrate African American History Month. It's our celebration of the entire month, obviously, but and the people who have come before us, who have paved the way, who have had incredible struggles to get this country to the place that it is today. Before we get going with the actual program, though, I would really love it if everybody could please rise, and I'd like for us to have a moment of silence. Thinking about and saying a prayer for the 18th District Commander Paul Bauer, who is a true hero in every sense of the word, both as a family man, a father, a husband, and an amazing police officer. He really epitomized everything that we would expect, like every little kid who wants to be a police officer to want to be like him. And so it's a huge and tragic loss for our city, and I'd argue most importantly for his family, who he was so devoted to. And so I'd like to have a moment of silence for him, and also remember the 17 lives that were lost on the very same day, and the many people injured, and the grieving families who were left behind of those kids, the kids who were victims of the shooting tragedy at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. This needs to stop. And this issue of not talking about getting control of weapons that shouldn't be in the hands of people who are seeking to harm and kill others. The president and other folks say that right now is not the right time to talk about this. We need to just grieve. No, it's the right time. If it's not now, when? And prayers and thoughts are just not enough to fix this situation. So I would ask that, knowing that, we send a prayer up for all of these victims, their families, and for our country, frankly, our city, and I have a moment of silence. Thank you. Okay, if you could please take your seats. So, the month of February is a time for all of us to honor and celebrate African American History Month. Honestly, I think it should not be the shortest month of the year in which we celebrate this. It really does bother me. It's not right. But we'll take it because that's what it is right now. We're going to make the most out of celebrating every single one of those days of the month. It's a time for us to remember the amazing African American history and heritage of this country, to remember the individuals and the events that have contributed to the history and the culture, the greatness of the United States of America. Now, as we honor the trailblazers of the past whose impact through their grassroots efforts and struggles created opportunities and triumphs of historic proportions, we must also applaud today's visionaries for their ongoing efforts. If anything, these are unsung heroes, people who are behind the scenes, some in front of the scenes, but mainly have dedicated their lives to helping others, who are setting incredible examples for our children, for the future generations, and who epitomize all that is best within not just the African American community, but certainly our society at large. Their commitment to achieving both personal and professional success is deserving of our recognition and our utmost support. And indeed, it's that very dedication which leads to the realization of greater achievements for future generations and inspires every American, regardless of race, creed, or economic status, anything, every American to do and to be greater. We have a wonderful example today with our honorees of folks that live up to exactly what I just said. And I'm very honored that you would all join us today to accept just a tiny recognition on behalf of the people of the state of Illinois from our office to you as a sign of our admiration and respect. Thank you. So let's get started with the fun stuff, right? And Andrew Hayes is walking in as I say, let's get started with the fun stuff. So welcome. So, Mary D, folks. Who doesn't know Mary D? I mean, everybody knows Mary D. She's amazing. Obviously, one of the strongest and most fearless people I have ever met. Mary D was born in Chicago, and she spent much of her youth in New Orleans. She began her long relationship with broadcast media in 1966 as a radio personality. In 1972, Mary, that's the year I was born. I just gave away my age. But Mary D moved on to WGN TV as a staff announcer and a talk show host. During the height of her career, Mary D was confronted with the personal tragedy when she fell victim to senseless gun violence. It is truly a gift and a miracle that she is with us today. And not just with us today, but the epitome of life and vitality. She used her tragedy to help others. She lobbied state and city politicians, and Mary D assisted in the passage of the very first Illinois Victim Bill of Rights law. She is the epitome of the word survivor. Some of Mary D's most impressive accomplishments, though, lie within her philanthropic work, including helping the homeless, supporting victims of domestic violence, advocating for the United Negro College Fund, and co-founding the organization Athletes for a Better Education. Also, she may be best known for all the work she has done helping orphans throughout the state of Illinois. Mary D continues to serve as a source of inspiration to us all. She is truly an Illinois icon, and we are honored to have her here with us today. Mary D is one of those people that if somebody were to interview you and ask me, what female figures are there in your life that you have been inspired by, she is right there at the top of the list. I feel very blessed and honored that I've had the chance to kind of grow up in this environment, seeing someone like Mary Lee as an example of who I would want to strive to be like. And I had this opportunity a few years back to have her actually sit down with me just one-on-one and have a lunch to pick her brain and to ask her about her life because it's so fascinating. And when I finished that lunch, I remember thinking, oh my God, I just had a full hour, it probably went over that, Mary, of Mary D's time all to myself. To me, it was like a treasure. It wasn't a lunch, it was like a treasure. So thank you for that. It's something that I'll always remember and hold dear to my heart. And it's such a pleasure for me to be able to at least recognize you and at least tell you face to face when there's not I'm not going to somebody else's event. This is my event that I get to tell you how important you have been to my life, whether you know it or not. And I know that is just magnified by so many other young ladies, whether they're African American or in my case Hispanic, that look up to you as like a pioneer and have given us the opportunity to strive to be just a little bit like you, Mary. I'll never get there, but because you're the best. So thank you for being here. And for those of you who haven't read this book, I'm going to give it a plug. Mary D, Life Lessons on Faith, Forgiveness, and Grace. And she didn't know I had this book, but I did because I've gobbled it up. And I was like, I hope I get the chance to ask Mary D to sign my book. And she did. So I'm super honored. But it talks about her life and her struggles. And more importantly, forget about the struggles, her overcoming every single adversity that's ever come her way. And so for that, we want to recognize you today, Mary D, along with probably a million other awards you've gotten. But thank you for being here today to accept ours. And if you'll allow me to read this, and this is what I'm going to read. I'm going to read it once, and it's applicable to all our honorees, okay? 2018 African American History Month, presented to Mary D. Your personal and professional accomplishments have made you one of the Illinois State Comptroller's Distinguished African American History Month honorees. Your commitment and dedication to your work have earned you both respect and success and have created tangible, meaningful contributions to your community. Your devotion to the development of opportunities and growth for future generations makes you a shining example for all to emulate. Awarded by me, the Comptroller, today, and I'm so thrilled to have your daughter and your son-in-law here to see you receive this award. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. This is so beautiful. You'll have to get another one because my mother is with me. I know you said my daughter, she's now my mother.
Yes,
and what I get, she gets.
Very good. It's been done, guys.
Thank you so much. This is really beautiful. I saw a replica and a large one, and I went like, Wow, that's really nice. Can I get that? So here I
There you
have
go, you
one.
have one.
Thank you. It was truly my pleasure to have lunch with you that day. Um, Very seldom do I sit down with someone who doesn't ask me for everything that I own, everything that I am. All she wanted to know was, what do I do? How do I help other people? What, how am I as a comptroller? Here I am, and I'm doing things, and I want to know. I really want to do a good job. And I thought, yes, I have an hour and a half, and you can have it. I was really
you.
very, very, very impressed and very pleased, as I am today. I'm very pleased to be with the other honorees, and I thank all of you for being here this morning. I am going to accept this award in the name of a few other people. As I celebrate my 50th broadcast year, I say very proudly, and my 81st year on this earth. I started to say, oh, I know you don't believe me because I look so good.
You do.
I think back about so many people that have been in my life and just touched my life and moved away, and other people who have come in my life and stayed, and children who have grown up with me. It's been not a chore. I want to say it's a chore, but it's never been a chore. It's always been fun and fancy free. One of my proteges right here, Andrew Hayes, just walked in that was recognized, who's now more popular than I am, better known in this city of Chicago than I am. I met probably 25 years ago, who said, I just need to know what you do. It just, everybody loves you, and it looks like you're really helping people. I want to know how to do that. And there he is at Fifth Third Bank. That's who Fifth Third Bank is, Andrew Hayes.
That's right.
My goodness. Yeah. It's been really wonderful. I kiddingly say I'm here with my mother and her husband this morning. I'm one of those very fortunate people who had a child and absolutely loved the idea of being a mommy. And with all of the struggles and all of the pain that I went through, I had a daughter who made every step I made. And now she says, Mom, no, you should, no, yes, that looks really good. No, you can do that. You should step over there. Don't sit over there. And so I tell people I have a mother now who tells me when to get up, when to lay down, who to talk to, who not to, all of those things, and I absolutely love it. And both of these people that I have in my life are just precious to me. I don't make a step, I don't make any moves without talking to both of them. So I thank both of you for being here this morning.
Yay.
I thank you. I want to wrap this up just by telling you that though, as Susanna mentioned, I was in a lot of pain for a very long time, the rest of a lifetime, as a matter of fact. And many of you may not even know it, so I'll say it very quickly.
Please, it's an amazing story.
I was kidnapped from a television station with a TV guest and made to drive a long way from way up north to far, far south and left in a forest reserve. And at the end of the night, my TV guest had been murdered next to me, and I was left with 2 .38s in the head. I have a half bullet on the right side of my brain now, and I'm still going through all of the pain that anybody could go through with that, having to have that happen to you. And so today I dedicate my award to Paul Bauer and also the 17 victims. It just makes sense that that's what I would do. There's so many people that have been lost to gunfire. And I used to lead the marches, and I used to lobby all the people, and I've been through it and over, and all of these years, nothing has been done. Paul Bauer met me some time ago, just walking, and I was looking for someone to ask a question of, and there he showed up. And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry to bother you." He said, "No bother, I know who you are, and I know your history. I know all about you. Come over here and let me hold you and get you out of this crowd." That was Paul Bauer, the policeman. Did not necessarily know that I knew him or not. And I talked to him, and before I could say anything to him about what I was looking for, he said to me, "You're a miracle. And I'm very blessed today to be standing next to you because people don't live like you. You were shot very close, 238s, and he knew all of that. It wasn't just me, though. That was just Paul. He was that kind of person who, as a policeman, loved what he did, loved his family, and loved his Chicago. So I think I'm blessed to have met that kind gentleman. And then for the 17 children, I thought, what am I supposed to do? Is this a call for me to step back out here? I've been in hiding for a little while, and that hiding is just taking it easy for a minute, not really working as hard as I have been, and not answering every call that comes in. Learning how to say no and then cringe when I say no. And then I say, well, wait, let me think about it. I'm still having a hard time not doing things. But what is it that I'm supposed to do? I haven't come to the answer of that yet. But what I do know is that those children should never be forgotten, and that they hopefully will become our future legislators. Those are the ones who will make the difference. They will heed the call. Their families, they will be the ones. The children who are left here today seemingly have more gumption, more sense. They're not ruthless. They're not senseless. They are smart. And we need to give them credit every day. Credit before we beat them down. They are smart and they're loving. And all they want to know is, am I doing a good job? Am I doing it? Do I know how to do it? That's what they want. And when we as adults can stop talking and listen, they will be better. They will become our future legislators. I hope that they will have your support and your guidance when you see them and hear them, no matter who they are. Yours, somebody else's, your neighbors, or what. It doesn't really matter. Just take good care of our children. They say this is not the time to talk about guns. I say, okay, so if you don't want to talk about guns, what do you want to talk about? If you don't want to talk about guns, you don't want to talk about legislation, you don't want to talk about the power of the NRA. Well, just for a little history, in the last year and a half, they have spent NRA with our Congress, our legislators, between 3 million, that's the lowest on the totem pole, and 21 million. That's per legislator, yeah. The lowest on the totem pole. And so if you can do anything, it is to educate yourself, arm yourself with your education, read everything you can, see everything you can on TV, and then choose for yourself and don't believe everything, because you're probably smarter than all of them. Fear not. Prayers work. They really do. I'm part of that positive feeling. They're just not enough today. This is Chicago. This is our Chicago. It makes me cry. And I'm not a crybaby. I'm pretty tough. Makes me just draw the tears out of me when I think about someone standing on the corner of Michigan Avenue looking for someone to ask a question of, and instead talking about the violence in my city. This is not just Chicago. This is my city. I'm very proud of this city. I have contributed 50 years of my life to this city. I have done everything every legislator has done, every school teacher probably has done, walked into schools to give a teacher a break when they go like, "You're kidding. You just kind of walked in?" And my answer is, yeah, I'm thrilled to be here. You mean you're going to leave me with your kids? Wow. I thought all of that was so exciting and really wonderful. And I still do. So bless all of you. I ask for your blessings for all of our teachers who have to handle our children every day. For those little kids who run 4 blocks and they're out of breath when they get to school, when they get to the front door. And I pray for those kids who run and don't make it. I thank you again for being here, and I thank you, my friend. Thank you.
See what I mean? She's amazing. Thank you, thank you. All right, so next up, it's you, pal. All right, we have Graham Grady, who's right over there. Graham is an accomplished lawyer and an active member in the Chicagoland community. Now, with a focus on the city of Chicago and Cook County, he helped secure necessary approvals for land developments in the Chicago metropolitan area. A consensus builder and negotiator, a great negotiator at that. He maintains excellent relations with community organizations, with local elected officials, and so many other stakeholders. Graham provides legal counsel for compliance, regulatory public policy, and encompasses zoning, land use, licensing, construction agreements, government contracts, procurement, and legislative approvals. He is, in fact, a smarty pants. It's true, Graham. It is true. Okay. He represents property owners, real estate developers, and every classification of real estate, including retail, residential, commercial, industrial, and a myriad of specialized land uses. Graham also serves as legal counsel to one of the 5 annuity and benefit funds of the City of Chicago, advising in a broad range of areas including compliance with the Illinois Pension Code, investment management agreements, open meetings, and Freedom of Information Act compliance, and the fiduciary obligations of the trustees of the pension fund. Graham is a true role model and source of admiration and inspiration for so many of our future generation of African American leaders and all leaders who strive to be as well, like you, Graham. I'm so honored and just thrilled that you're here, and I'm more pleased to say that I know you and I've gotten to learn so much from you over the years. So thank you, and please come on up.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you very much. I want to thank each of you for being here today, and I want to thank all of you for what each of you contribute to our community. Comptroller Mendoza, thank you so much for having this event to focus attention on African American history, our current plight, and the challenges that we face as a community. As one individual, I'm pleased to be here. When I think of you, I think of someone who is strong, scrappy, and tenacious. Susanna Mendoza tells it like it is, and you have done a wonderful job of public education in explaining to the citizenry how the budget works, what the responsibility of the governor is to present a balanced budget, what the obligations of each department are to live within their budget, and what the obligations of the legislature and the members of the legislature are. And for that, I'm very grateful because you're doing such a wonderful job. Scrappy, tenacious, telling it like it is, and for the people. And so for this award, I thank you very much. Again, I thank each of you. And all I can say is I hope over time to actually earn this recognition. But I want to thank you for that here in Chicago, which was a city, as we know, was founded by Jean-Baptiste Pont-du-Sable, who was an immigrant from Haiti. We have great Chicagoans here, from Mae Jemison, the first African-American female astronaut. Of course, Harold Washington, the first African-American mayor of Chicago. And who's that Barack guy?
I've heard of him.
And so thank you very much for including me in this ceremony, and I wish you all good speed in continuing to be a great public servant.
Thank you, Graham. Thank you.
Thank you.
And of course, Graham, you can now add your name to that list of famous people in Chicago. So thank you. And here in Illinois. Okay, next, I'd love to introduce you all to Quentin Love, who, by the way, has the coolest name of anyone on the panel. Quentin is a restaurateur, a philanthropist, a community activist, and an author. He is an underachiever by all accounts, as you can tell. That's a joke. Okay. All right. So in 2001, Chef Quentin Love established the Love Foundation, a not-for-profit dedicated to providing a higher quality of living to underserved communities. After several different businesses in his community, Love turned back to his true passion, which is cooking. We share a passion, Chef Love. I love to cook, but even more so, I love to eat. Okay. Chef Love focused on making the comfort foods healthier. He opened his first restaurant, Quench, and went on to open 10 no-beef, no-pork restaurants in Chicago. In 2009, Chef Love opened a grocery business in the Roseland community and earned recognition on the 40 Under 40 People to Watch list in Crane Chicago Business. Chef Love launched the Turkey Chop Gourmet Grill brand in Atlanta before bringing it to Chicago's West Humboldt Park in 2012. In 2014, Turkey Chop became the first and only Chicago restaurant to close its doors once a week to operate as a community soup kitchen. How awesome is that? In 2016 and 17, Chef Love raised more than $40,000 through GoFundMe to give away 3,000 turkeys, feed some 6,000 people on Thanksgiving and Christmas, and provided 10,000 packets of assorted hats, scarves, socks, and gloves to those in need, while also giving away toys to our babies. This past Thanksgiving, Chef Love helped spread some love in Cairo, Illinois, by helping to raise turkeys for my office to distribute personally in Cairo, Illinois. Chef Love, on behalf of the wonderful people of Cairo, thank you from the bottom of all of our hearts. I will tell you that our visit to Cairo was so inspirational on so many levels. Cairo was one of the most beautiful and thriving communities in the entire state of Illinois many years ago. But today it feels like a forgotten place in our state. And the people there rarely see elected officials, rarely feel that anyone's even paying attention to them. Most worst of case of all of that is that they rarely feel any love from the people that should be working hard to represent them in a more dignified fashion. So we chose to go with staff this last Thanksgiving to Cairo, Illinois, to let them know that we do care, that we do know they exist, and we want them to get on a path to thriving once again. There's a lot of problems in this state, and I think if you look at the city of Cairo, you'll see that what happens in Cairo can happen anywhere else. And so if we want to make things better, we have to start by looking at those that need the most help and figure out how we bring them up, because when they rise, the rest of the state does too. So Chef Love, thank you so much. You brought so much joy, and seriously, like the love, you could feel it with those families. We almost were able to feed 100 families with those donations. They got turkeys, like cabbages bigger than my head, and I have a pretty big head, right? People say that all the time. But sweet potatoes that look like footballs. You know, this is a city that the closest grocery store is 7 miles away. Think about that. There's nothing. You can't even go to like a little mini mart, like a little fruit stand. There's nothing there for people to have access to healthy foods. And nobody deserves to live like that. That's just not right. So that Thanksgiving, those families, when they talked to us and they were so thankful, they said, we weren't planning on having a Thanksgiving. Now I'm going to get to invite family over and have a big turkey and have real trimmings. And it was like the whole shebang for that dinner. And I wish that those folks had the ability to put food on their table all the time and bring family together. But they were still full of hope. They were still happy. They were thankful. And it just really motivated me and my staff to really go out there and work even harder for the people of Illinois. So thank you so much for coming with us in spirit. Your love was felt in Cairo, Illinois, and I look forward to working with you for many years to come. So thank you so much. If you could come up, please. You so deserve this award. Chef Quentin Love. Let's show him some love. Yeah, woo!
Thank you all for coming out. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you, Comptroller, for honoring us and putting that smile on our faces, right? I mean, when I got the phone call, I was totally surprised and thankful for the relationships, that I forged. And you never know who walks into your business. You never know who you come across. And what I realize is that, and I'm reminded, is that it's better to give than it is to receive. I want you all to take a moment and think about that. Turn to your neighbor and just let them know. Repeat after me. It's better to give.
It's better to give
than to receive. Now, I was sitting in my restaurant a few years ago, no customers coming in, drug dealers everywhere, prostitution, drug addicts, just this crazy scene in West Homer Park. And the West Homer Park Development Council wanted to help revitalize a community that most people have forgotten about. And they asked me to come over there and open up this restaurant. And no one was coming in there because they never was used to having a restaurant in the area of that level of look and the food, no beef, no pork, what is that? We want, what we usually get. And the drug dealers are standing right in front of the spot. They stand right on the corner, and it's a very intimidating situation. And it's creating a space where no one wants to come in. So I'm sitting there, no money, no hope, ready to close, and I realized that I need to start giving back. Over the years, I've had many different types of businesses, but I never realized that it was more around giving back to the community than just taking and just making money. And I realized that I had an unlimited resource, in which was the food I had in my pantry at the place. So why not just start giving away meals just to turn the culture around? And now we've fed over 160,000 people on a Monday. There's respect in the land. We talk. They shift around. They don't just stand directly in front of the business. They move around. They, oh yes sir, Mr. Love or Quentin or whatever. It's like they really understand that it's more about, we got to really take care of our community and not just take from it. And my family was touched with a drug situation through my mom. And when I see that woman in my line and when I feed her, it makes me remind me of my mother and what my mother was going through at that time. And she's 10 years clean now. But we spent 30 years trying to figure out how to get her out of a situation. And so when I see that person in line just looking for a meal, they haven't eaten all week. They chose to get high with the money, they chose to do whatever it was, but they take a pause and just say, man, someone truly cares about me. And I may decide to stop getting high today. I may decide to not rob somebody today. The drug dealer, he gets in the line and he's like, man, somebody actually loves me and I should really start looking for a job. And I didn't realize that the impact was going to be this big when you start seeing people really wanting to turn their life around just by a simple act of kindness, which is just simply giving them a hot meal. So take off work on a Monday, come see me, 3506 West Chicago Avenue. Come serve with me. We serve from 12 to 3. It's a line out the door. We serve at least 1,000 people every week, and we're blessed. So this award goes out to the 160,000 people that we see. This goes out to this young man that wears a mask, and he's wearing a mask and he's standing outside and across the street from the business, and he's not realizing that he's not only scaring the customers but scaring everybody that's driving past on Chicago Avenue. And I walk up to him and I said, he's like, "What's up?" I didn't know who he was, but I could possibly guess, but because he has a full-blown mask on. And I said, "Why do you have this mask on?" He was like, "I don't know." He just was doing that. And I said, "You should take that off. Like, it doesn't make any sense." He just simply just took it off his face. But he could have also chose to pull the gun out and do what he was possibly thinking about doing. And I told him, I said, "Man, I love you. For no reason at all, I love you." And he looked at me and said, "I love you too. For no reason at all." And he may have decided to do something different that night just because of that. So I don't want us to really forget. I don't want us to forget the people. Like Mary, you were saying, it's like people are making choices every single day to do something wrong, but they also can make the choice to do something right. And we have to take some kind of part in helping to protect our village. The next door neighbor, the person on the corner, anything. Do not forget about the people. And when you walk past the people, just simply say hello, smile at them, and if you're brave enough, simply say, "Hey, I love you." For no reason at all, just simply give that random act of kindness that could turn their life around forever. And I know it turned my life around,
Yeah.
And I realized that it wasn't about the money. And when I stopped thinking about the money, things began to overflow in my life because of it. And to be here and to be honored is just a reminder of what the power is like to give. So don't forget that. Thank you so much. I love you all.
Wow, that was incredible. Seriously, right? It's like a testament to the power of love. There's a reason why God gave you that last name, so thank you for using it. Okay. Whew. Jennifer Maddox, the founder of Future Ties. Jennifer Maddox, our last honoree, was born and raised on Chicago's South Side. She's a 21-year veteran of the Chicago Police Department. Thank you. Yes. And an instructor of community engagement. Jennifer founded and operates the nonprofit Future Tie, a year-round program in Parkway Gardens apartment located in the Woodlawn community. Future Ties provides a safe haven for youth between the ages of 5 to 18. The youth receive help with their homework, with their tutoring, mentoring, life skill workshops, off-site field trips, and a healthy, hot meal every single day. Her work with the organization made her a top 10 CNN hero for 2017. Isn't that awesome? Jennifer also works as a community life specialist at the new Oakwood Shores Community Center, providing activities to Oakwood Shore residents. She's an alumnus of the Civic Leadership Academy with the University of Chicago and an alumnus of the McCormick Foundation Executive Fellows Program with Erickson Institute Early Childhood Leadership Academy. Jennifer was named Supermom of 2017 by Steve Harvey and appeared on his show, sharing how being nurturing to children provides a real foundation of love and support. Jennifer has 2 adult sons, Christopher and Craig, and one 18-month-old grandson, Caden, that just makes her crazy in a good way. She cherishes that little Caden with all her heart. And Jennifer is, in fact, a super mom, and we're honored to have this amazing woman, this super mom, be one of our very own right here in Illinois. So, Jennifer, thank you for your leadership, and please come on up. Thank you. So proud of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you so much for this honor. I'm just honored just to be amongst all the honorees here. Why I'm here, I have no idea, because I feel that the work that I do in the community, I'm always behind the scenes. You know, I don't look for recognition. I just try to do the best that I can do to give young people a better chance and a childhood. I remember jumping double dutch, playing hopscotch, riding my bike up and down the street, being able to be outside and just have some fun. Had to come home when the street lights was on, of course, but you know, that was all a part of my upbringing. And today, as a patrol officer, patrolling the streets in the Woodlawn community, I was assigned to a beat where Parkway Garden Apartments is located. And we spent a lot of time in Parkway, and I realized that there was no safe spaces, nowhere for the kids to play ball, double dutch, jump rope, nothing. You know, it was just a housing complex. And so I felt as though I needed to do something in that area, because the kids, when they come outside, they were so used to gunshots and fights, just different things that was happening in that community, and there was no structure or anything that they could go to after school or on the weekends. So just asking the building management to allow me to utilize a basement, which is what we're in right now, a basement, to open the doors up to bring the kids in off the streets. So I did that in my off hours. And then I realized that I needed some help from the parents to help me with this task as well, because these were our babies, all of our babies. And so I was able to get some of the parents to support and realize that those children are our future. And those are the children that hopefully will take care of us when we get older. And so we needed to support them and have some spaces for them to be and come and do their homework. And it also gave the parents an opportunity to actually learn about other children other than their own. So starting off as just a drop-in center where we provided just some board games and snacks, we're now into a full-year program where we have an after-school program that's a 501c3 that we service 40 children after school and 40 teenagers in the summer. And we're able to take them off-site, move them around the city so that they can see this beautiful city. Many have not, and many have, they are learning, you know, different experiences of the city and the cultures. So it's important that we support our young people, and in doing so, we're training up the parents as well so that the parents can learn how to not only be leaders in their communities, but be leaders in their homes. So it's really important, and I really appreciate this opportunity to share that with you. And we look for volunteers. I work the part-time job because that's how I fund my program. And it's a great opportunity if anybody want to come visit, check in, stop, read a book to the kids, help them with their homework. We're always looking for volunteers to come out. If you can't do that, you want to help fund a field trip, we're working on going to see Black Panther. We're going to wait until it die down a little bit. And we're going to take some of the kids out to see that. But this is such an honor. I thank all of you for coming. The city took a real heavy loss.
Huge.
This week with Commander Bauer. He was a great guy. He still is a great guy. Keep us all in your prayers and their family as well, because it's tough. And today is his wake, and tomorrow's the services. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Wow, well, I'm just very thrilled again that we could honor these amazing people. And Jennifer, again, so sorry for your loss too, because you know it's Commander Bauer has his family, his wife and his daughter and his loved ones, but the CPD is a family as well, and Chicago is your family too. So we're all in this together. So please keep her in your prayers too, and all of our Chicago police officers and all of law enforcement as they leave their homes to try to serve and protect. And there's no guarantee that they'll be back, so that needs to be respected and appreciated. Again, thank you to all of you for being here. You're all so great. This was just such a great, I think, African American History Month celebration.